What's going on, modelers? Gentleman 94 here. Welcome back to the 1941 Chevy Pickup here on 4Wheel Fridays. This is for the Chevy Truck Month group build hosted by Fred Henry. I'm really excited to jump in on this one today, get some plastic together, maybe throw some paint on different areas. We're going to see what we can do. So let's open it up and we're going to go ahead and start looking at what we're going to be focusing on today. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get a lot done. We only have 4 episodes, guys, so we got to kind of kick it into high gear. Now we're going to start today with the basic engine. I want to go ahead and see what we can do and how much we can get together today. Now, there are 2 versions you can build. You can build the stock version and then the custom version. They do differentiate between stock and custom, so I'm going to highlight all of the stock versions so we know what we're doing. I'm really excited to go ahead and start on this kit, and I've been thinking about colors. I've been thinking about all sorts of things with this. I found some awesome pictures online of just a sweet looking truck, and I'm thinking of doing a blue up on top, so the cab, bed, hood, maybe a blue color, and then for the fenders, running boards, and the lower part of the chassis, might do a black. Might be kind of neat to do. But we're going to focus today on the engine. That's where I want to start and see what we can do with that. So without further ado, let's jump on in, cue that time lapse, get this thing done. Well, the engine looks pretty decent so far, but I'm going to make a little comment here, and this is no reflection on the actual kit itself, but I will say that after building a lot of the Tamiya, Hasegawa, and Edward model kits, Revell's instructions are a little bit lacking. For example, on the engine, they have just dotted lines to an area where you install a part, but they don't really tell you exactly where to put that part. It kind of leaves it up to you to figure out how it all goes together. I don't know if it's true for you guys, but for me, Revell's instructions are a little on the lacking side. But anyway, doesn't matter. Let's jump back on in, get this engine finished up. Alright, this is how the engine turned out. As you can see, everything is glued on. I had some issue here with the front of it. I had a little bit of issue with the air cleaner and with the horn as well. Everything looks decent though, where you drilled out the front of the horn. I'm not sure if that's correct placement there, but well, it's going to be where the instructions call out, so I just put it there. We have a master cylinder back here that does not seem to line up very well, and like I said, the instructions aren't 100% clear, but I think it looks pretty decent. Now let's talk color. Color here on the actual engine itself, most of it tends to be marked dark gray. Now I don't know exactly which dark gray they want me to use, but I've narrowed it down to the one that I'm really interested in using. That's made by Vallejo. I've actually used it before on a totally different application. This is the Engine Grey color by Vallejo. And it's the Model Air color, so it's already thinned and ready for paint. Just got to drop it in the airbrush, crank up the pressure a little bit, and I should be good to go. So let's dive on in with this color, see how it looks. If nothing else, at least it'll be a good primer coat. not too shabby. I like how this color turned out. It's a very dark gray. Of course, we need to come back and we need to do some touch-up painting. Some of these different parts and pieces have to be called out for different colors, like there's a gloss black, but I think I really like this shade of engine gray. I think it looks pretty sweet. While that's drying though, I'm going to move on to the chassis. I wanted to go ahead and start just the basic construction of the chassis because there's lots of parts and pieces here with the transmission, axles, any sort of leaf springs. There's a lot of things that we need to go ahead and put onto this chassis. So I'm just going to jump into it now and see what we can do. Again, those Revell instructions can be a little tough to read, I got to admit. But we're going to push on here with the chassis, see what we can get done. This kit's coming together. I mean, it's a little different for me, but it is coming together. So the chassis itself basically came together decently enough. There's a lot of parts and pieces here that were somewhat difficult to figure out how exactly they wanted me to install them. But we have the front axles done, we have the rear axles done, we have the leaf springs attached, we have all the different rods and whatnot here installed, we have the exhaust installed. So I think we're going to go ahead and call it here. The engine's still drying, and the chassis, of course, needs to be airbrushed in a black color. Next episode, we're going to come on back and we're going to start painting up the chassis, and then we're going to be able to detail the engine, do a little dry brushing here and there, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and button this up into the front of the cab. I think this is going to be a pretty decent model. Already, I feel good about this. It's moving along. It's not the fastest assembly I've ever done, but again, I haven't really built a lot of cars, so I'm a little slow. But I think we should be able to get it done. This is a really kind of fun video series for me because, hey, it's cars, and I'm kind of new to that, so I'm learning a lot. Anyway, thank you so much for coming along on my journey. We will see you back here next week on 4Wheel Fridays. We're going to get a lot more painting done, do a lot more installation, and really get this thing looking sweet. Until then, good luck with your builds, and we'll see you back here next week on 4Wheel Fridays.